You see, if we can determine when the sellers are finished selling, that gives us a lead into the signal that we would need to start buying. See, we can't start buying anything until the sellers have finished selling. And I know that sounds pretty basic, but it's something that many people have overlooked. Let's take the US dollar for instance. I don't know what your opinions are of the dollar, but I know that here in the US we are taking on a lot of debt. As a nation, this is not a good thing, and the citizens of our country here are very unhappy with what's going on in Washington. And you will see a dramatic change, I believe, in November when the elections take place. I think you're going to see a great shift in power. Now, at the same time, if you think the dollar is going to fall in value, which I do think it's going to happen, that's going to bring back inflation. In fact, inflation could come back with double digits, and it could come back with a fury like we saw in the mid-1970s. Some of you may not be old enough to remember those days, but in the 1970s, during the American presidency under Jimmy Carter, we saw inflation that was really devastating for a lot of people. You see, when inflation hits in any currency, what happens is the citizens who hold that currency wind up losing their buying power. The currency that they hold in their bank accounts becomes less valuable in the world economy because it could buy less with what they have. So another way of saying this is that a gallon of milk is going to cost those people a heck of a lot more than it did prior to the inflationary move. Well, that sounds very terrible, doesn't it? Well, if you know how to hedge yourself, there are instruments out there that work counter to the US currency. For instance, if you were to look on a computer and type in the ticker symbol UDN, so that's Uniform Delta November, UDN, you'll see that this is an instrument, it's an ETF, that's contra dollar. In other words, when the dollar goes up, this UDN will go down in price. Well, the other applies when the US dollar drops, UDN will actually go up in value. And how could that be? Well, UDN is a basket of other world currencies. In fact, the top 15 most liquid currencies are in this basket. So when someone takes their US dollar and buys into this currency instead, if the US dollar drops, they're basically exchanging that dollar for another currency position. And if enough people do this, what happens is they're putting pressure on the dollar, which accelerates the move lower, and then the UDN contract will go up in value. You see, so there's really no need to fear a falling dollar if you know how to hedge yourself correctly. And we're going to go into this in great detail over time. But what I'd like to tell you is really a personal story to really anchor in with you why I do and why Rick does what he does with the market guys. You see, Rick and I don't come from money. We didn't grow up watching parents who had extreme wealth. In fact, we had just the opposite. Rick's parents were teachers. In fact, both of his parents were teachers. I think he had 8 uncles who were also teachers. On my side of the family, I had my mother's mother and my mother's father were both teachers. So teaching is in our blood, which is why we have this passion for teaching. But the other thing that we've learned in watching parents who didn't have money is that we learned how to prepare. We learned how to take what we know and profit from that, but not in a greedy sort of way. You see, we've learned how to accumulate wealth, but we've also learned how to do good things with that wealth. And the real message here, for those of you who are listening, is that we're going to show you how to accumulate wealth. That's what we do. But we only ask one thing in return, and it's this. If we go out there and dedicate our lives to showing people how to accumulate wealth through different investment strategies and ideas, the only thing that we ask from our audience is that they take that knowledge and use it for the betterment of the world. Tony Mackin is doing just this. He's one of the most giving people I know, and he probably will not tell you this because he's modest. But he's a man that's changing the world, and I know Ian's out there doing the same thing. See, if we could show people how to accumulate wealth and then take that money and do good things with it, then collectively as a group, we could change the world. And I know it sounds far-fetched, and it might sound as though I'm on a soapbox preaching these things, but I want to tell you that in all sincerity, we are coming to Ireland to hope in hopes that we will be able to touch some people's lives so that they can take what they've learned over these days that are coming and teach those around them, especially your family members and people who are closest to you. If we can teach people not only how to preserve what they have, but also accumulate wealth in what might be termed as one of the greatest recessions ever recorded, then we can still take that big fat negative and turn it into a positive. You're going to leave this event knowing that you did the right thing. It's worth every penny you'll spend and more, because what we're going to give you in exchange for your admission fee is something that you'll be able to carry with you for the rest of your life. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You'll know this more when you get to meet us, but it's the reason why I tell people to go out there and really bring others with you. We're not in the seminar business, we're in the teaching business. We teach people how to do what we do, and then we simply ask them to duplicate that. So I know this is a short recording to make up for maybe some of the technical challenges we had on the call earlier, but I want to leave you with this one thought. You have the power right now to make a decision to change your life in a positive way. You're either going to act on that decision or you're going to pass on that. But you have to understand this as well, in that we are all a product of the decisions we've made in the past. If you are a very happy person who's grateful for everything that's gone in your life, then chances are you have very little regret, and you'll continue to make the decisions the way you have all the time. But if there's something that's vacant right now in your life, maybe you're looking for something a little bit extra. Maybe you're searching for that purpose. I don't know, because again, I don't know you personally yet. If you're searching for that purpose, I encourage you to come here once again, because this event is a lot deeper than just showing you how to make some money. We'd like to help you uncover that purpose so that you could go out there and make a difference. So with that said, I want to thank you. I really look forward to seeing you in the near future, and I really hope that you bring as many people as you can to this event, because I promise you we're not going to embarrass you in front of your guests. They'll most likely thank you for the invitation. So this is AJ Monty with the Market Guys. Rick Swope and I will be looking forward to speaking with you on Friday morning. Until then, have a great couple of days, and we'll see you soon. So long.